Hi y'all, welcome to Beadinkrazy Custom Creations. I'm Miss Frances, and we are going to make the reversible bucket hat. Now, for the most part, most people, if you sew at all, you know how to cut out a pattern. Okay, what I did was I got the bucket hat when my granddaughter wanted me to. I got the pattern when my granddaughter wanted me to make bucket hats, reversible bucket hats. So I went online on YouTube and I found a website, Jenna Phipps. Phipps, I think. Phipps. Okay. So I printed out the pattern, which I'm going to link the pattern and her website on there so you can watch her do it if you wish. I did something different with the pattern. She had several seams. I didn't want that many seams. I wanted one seam to go down the back of the hat and the brim. So what I did was I took and I printed the pattern out twice. And I taped them together. The folds going the same way. Okay? This is the side, the tarp part of the hat. Okay? Then the brim, I did the same thing too. Folds going the same way. I taped them together. I put them on poster board so I can use them over and over again. And then the top. Well, it's on poster board, but you have to cut two tops anyway. One in each pattern, one in each piece of material that you're going to use. Okay, so there's that. It's linked below. Should be able to. It's a PDF. You should be able to print it off. If not, I did link her website, so you can go to her website and get it. Now, I got one piece left. Now, in mine, she did not. I think she did in the top, or maybe the brim. She used the iron-on lining. Well, I use the iron-on lining in all of my pieces, because it makes the hat a little stiffer, so you can fold it up, you can fold it down, you can do, it just makes the hat easier. I got one piece left to cut out. Well, two actually, because I have to cut out the iron-on lining. But I'm going to cut this out, and then we are going to hopefully get it sewed together. This is my, I want to say this is my second attempt at this, because the first one I did the pattern exactly as she did, and no, it won't go together unless you just keep sewing on it, and that's why I only wanted one seam. One seam is a whole lot easier to manage. And I am cutting, I drew it on with tailor's chalk that I got from Temu, cheap. And I am cutting right on the outside of the line that I drew. I don't care if it's a little bit bigger. I mean, I can trim it. But I'm trying to do all the pieces that way, so hopefully they will fit together like they're supposed to. Because that last one, it's going together. I'm telling you, it's going together. But I got tired of messing with it. Plus, I got another video started, and I need to finish it, but I can't finish it till this evening. Yesterday was a rough day for me. Nothing seemed to work out. I was like, what the heck? So, I'm hoping this one will work, because I know some people really wanted to see this bucket hats being put together. So, as soon as I get done cutting, we will start putting the pieces together. And I'm not going to make you sit and wait me wait while I cut all the pieces out, and then I got to iron on the lining. So I'll come back when we're ready to start sewing. Alright, I have all these parts cut out now. And I've been sitting on the floor doing this, and I just can't do it right now. I've been having some back pain again, and it's getting to be too much, getting up and down off the floor. So, got a towel, I got a piece of cardboard, and I got this little vinyl mat that you use on your t-shirts when you're doing them. So, what I'm going to do now is iron this. If I can reach my arm without knocking stuff over. Turn my iron on. I'm going to iron the facing on these parts before I... And you can always tell on this. This is the smooth side. This is the bumpy side. Bumpy side down. For sure. Most people have probably used it already, so they don't really need me to tell them that. I got silicone all over my... Yeah. It was one of those nights. Okay. Gonna iron this on to all the pieces. And if you don't get it on completely straight, you're okay. You can trim off the excess. But for the most part, you want to get it stuck down on there. And then we will start. I'll get my sewing machine and we will start sewing. Now hopefully it'll go together a lot easier. Yeah, that iron ain't even hot. What the heck? Did I just turn... Oh, I might have just turned it off. I can't tell. Huh. That's weird. Steam's working, so I must have turned it off. No wonder it wasn't ironing anything. I thought it was on. I thought I turned it off when I set it down. Obviously not. Trying not to slide this around. It's pretty slick. I was ironing on the floor and I just didn't want to get anything all over the material because I need to run the vacuum down here again. Pick up all those pieces of resin and stuff that's ended up on the floor. Okay, there's that one. Alright, let's see. This is a shorter piece. That's the brim. Or is that the brim? No, this is the brim. This is the short piece. Well, shoot. Really, it's not that short. Huh. Well, okay. Guess I didn't cut a big enough piece for this one. That's okay. I got some pieces there and I'd like to use them, so I'll just piece it together. You can do that. Because once you iron it on there, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Yeah, I really cut that one wrong, didn't I? Oh well. Just do some trimming here real quick because I don't want it sticking to the towel. Yeah, still got to do some more trimming. Really, I can't believe I'm that far off. Really, I can't. some hanging off down there too. Definitely don't want to stick it to the towel. Alright. You get the gist of what I'm doing. I'm going to try and make this video shorter, so when I'm ready, got my sewing machine set up, we're ready to go, I'll be back. Alright, now I have my 2 circles out of my 2 different fabrics. I sewed mine together. She does not. She makes each individual bucket hat. I don't do that. I just found that it was easier just to stitch around it and have the 2 pieces together. Now we're going to see if it works, because this is about the 4th time I've tried making this video, and it hasn't seemed to work yet. I'm just going, I'm making the 1/4 inch probably stitch around the outside of it just to sew the 2 pieces together. I hope my sewing machine's not too loud. I do have the microphone pretty close to me. I can move it if I have to. If I figure out, if I watch it and it's too loud, I'll move the microphone out of the way. Oops, what a minute. Wait a minute. Why am I gapping here? Shouldn't be gapping anywhere. What the heck? I don't know. Alright. Got that part together. Now the next parts are the top of the hat. This is the very top. This is the part that goes around your head. The parts we'll be sewing next. Now, like I said, she says 1/4 inch seam. I don't know if 1/4 inch seam works for me. And I'm not good at measuring. So here's this piece. We're gonna sew it together. I think on my other pattern that I kind of tweaked, I had some notches. Well, I didn't put it in this pattern. I probably should. But I think I'm going to go, I want to kind of go maybe like, I want to say I want to sew at least a 1/2 inch seam. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm just going to eyeball it. That's a 1/4 inch seam there. I go over just a hair. All right. And if you can, you know, if you can sew a straight line, you can sew this hat. I mean, why is that wanting to gather up like that? No, we're not. No, go back. Okay. There's that side. Flip my threads. And then get the other piece, the other side, and sew it together. Now, I did the Biker Betty again, because I had plenty of it. I have another one that I want to make, and I don't have much of that material, and I don't know if I can find it again, because I got it at, I'm pretty sure I got it at Joanne's. So I'm hoping that I can, but I don't know. I mean, you kind of got to, if you're looking for Betty Boop material, you kind of got to buy it when you see it. Because Betty Boop material does not last very long at Michael's, or I mean at Joanne's or Walmart or Hobby Lobby. I haven't really seen it in Walmart very much. When I have, believe me, I've bought it. Because you don't see it very often. So, like I said, when you see it, you better buy it. Okay. You want to try and sew the seams about the same size. Because if you don't get them right, then when you go to put the hat together, you're going to have a problem. Because I've had to go back and sew my seam more because the hat gapped and when I tried to put it together. So I'm hoping that I won't have that problem, but we don't know. We'll see. All right. There's that piece. And then I have the Betty Boop USA. Now, those two pieces are together. Here's my circle. Now, I'm going to move this out of the way just a hair and maybe move you over. Because we're gonna try and clip them together first and see if they're gonna go. I don't know. They might not. Okay, this one has to be, one side has to be turned inside out. Which I'll do this one. And I need to try and, sometimes I press the seams. Sometimes I just flatten them out as much as I can. Because it's easier than having to get the iron out every 5 minutes. If you can flatten them out, then you don't have to worry. Alright. I'm sorry, that was my cousin calling me. Miss Jeannie will be here tomorrow night on the live. So, okay. Now, just to show you what I had to do. I had them put together, but I had to sew a bigger seam to make them fit. So you see inside there, inside there. That's how I had to do it. So I'm going to carefully, very carefully, try to sew these together. I may have to take my clips off. Well, I'm hoping that I won't have to sew any more of a seam in there, because if I sew that big of a seam on that, when it comes to the brim, I'm going to have to sew a big seam on it too to make it fit. So, I'm going to try very carefully to start sewing this and hopefully be able to do it. I don't know. Without having to take all the clips out. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I'm going to try and just take the clips out as I go. Oh, please. Alright, here we go. I just have to do it really slow. hoping I got that matched together good, but I can't see it. I can't tell. No, that material needs to come up some. Yeah, there we go. Alright, this is when you need about a bunch of different hands here. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to have to sew it very slowly, because I only want to take a few clips out at a time and try and keep this together. I don't know if that's going to work. That's a big ass, sorry, it's a big seam, and really I need to, I really should have cut the seam some before I started sewing this, because I don't really want that big a seam. Alright, let's see if I can trim this one. I don't know if I can trim it while I need to trim it down some, because it's too big a seam to be sewing over. Alright. Yeah, I don't know if I can get to that one. I can try. See if I can cut it so I don't have that big a seam on it. Sorry, I'm out of frame, but I really need to cut this some. I don't want that big a seam on that side either. Alright. Let's hope it works. Because I'm telling you, I'm hoping. I'm hoping I don't have a, I think this one really needs to be sewed, needs a bigger seam on it. Or some clips in it or something. I don't want a wrinkle, really, I don't. But I don't really want the wrinkle. Alright, let's try this. See what happens. It may give me a wrinkle, I don't know. If it does, I'm going to have to tear it apart. Which won't be the first time. Probably won't be the last that I have to tear something apart. Okay, I'm trying to keep this material down and this material pulled up where it's supposed to be. Okay. Take two at a time out here. Try and keep this material where it's supposed to be. Dang it. Trying. I don't want to overstitch in this. Trying to get it stitched properly. Yeah, I hope I'm still hitting the bottom material. That's what I'm worried about. I can't see both. Can't see both materials. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm hitting it and not sewing more than what I should be sewing here, which is hard to do. Okay. Why are we wanting to, I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, I hope I'm not sewing something. I'm I'm trying to keep this one pulled back because I don't want to be stitching in it. I think I might have already done it. Darn it. I can't tell. I can't pull on it because I'll end up bending my needle on my sewing machine if I pull on it. I'm just trying to keep it tucked under there. I don't know where it's at though. Not sure it's where it's supposed to be. Sorry, I can't see the end of that material. And I'm not sure I'm catching it. Stop. Stop. What the heck? What are you sewing? Stop. Dang. What the heck? Okay, what the heck are we doing there? Well, we're there. Yeah, I think I got some wrinkles here that I didn't really anticipate. I don't know why. And I hope I'm not sewing that material in there. That's what I'm afraid of. Because I can't. I'm trying to keep it like it should be. Nope, you gotta get back up there. Well, I guess we'll see when I get it sewed. And hopefully I don't have to tear it out. Don't know. You know, I'm trying to keep this other material flat enough so I know I'm not sewing it up in the seam. This is I guarantee this is the hardest part of the hat. I mean, getting the brim to fit, not as hard as, and you could sew each individual hat if that's what you wanted to do. You could make 2 hats and then stick them inside each other. I choose to do it this way because I'm making both hats at the same time. I don't have to sew 2 hats and then sew them together. No. So I'm just trying to make sure I got enough of this back material here that I'm not losing it. Because I can't tell. I can't tell about the back and the front and I'm trying not to have a bunch of wrinkles, which you can make relief cuts in the material if you wish. I just didn't. And I did. I did sew in that material. God bless it. I sure did. I can't show you until I undo this. Until I cut the threads. God bless it. Yep. See See what I did? This was not supposed to be sewed in there. And, of course, that is the only spot I did it in. God bless me. He hadn't been blessing me lately, that's for sure. God bless it. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. That's why I kept trying to pull that material down. That's because I didn't want to sew into it. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. Doggone it. Alright. Now, I think I'm going to try and do it this way. So I can see. Because I don't know how I managed to do that. Alright. I don't know what my dogs are barking about. I know they're supposed to be coming back with a U-Haul. And her little brother's spending the night because she needs her younger brother, she needs his help moving. So, I mean, I'm just at that point that I don't care. I want her to move, so I will let her little brother stay here because he's helping her move. And she obviously needs the help. So I hope I didn't just sew that back in there. It's hard to tell. Plus I seem to have a pretty good wrinkle there going there, which I don't like. Alright, let's see. Let's see how badly I jacked up here. Because I had to start from where I left off, from where I tore out, and sew again. Okay. I don't know. It's hard to show you here. Yeah, I don't know why that looks shorter. Because you're not pulling it out. Yep, I do kind of have a wrinkle. God bless it. You're not supposed to, but I do. I have a wrinkle. Right where that seam is. Yeah, it's my hat. I really just... And I don't understand why I have... No, because you probably sewed over too far on that. No, I did not. Okay, well, there's the top half of the hat. Now, putting the brims on is going to be fun. Because since I had to do such a big seam to get them to match the top of the hat, I am going to have to do the same thing on the brim. I'll have to do a big seam. And I will do this again for you. I'm not real thrilled with the way that one turned out. I mean, it has a wrinkle there, and it has a pucker right there. I don't know if you can see it. See the pucker right there? Yeah. I am not a happy camper. I am not. All right, I will be back down later. I'm not going to finish this video. I will be back down later because I need to unmold my dragon. So, I definitely will be back down. So, I will finish this video, but I'm going to tear this out. Okay, I'm back with this bucket hat. Now, I'd take quite a few days away from this bucket hat because I was getting irritated that I couldn't get it together. But, okay, here's the hat portion, the top of the hat portion. Now, I've got the machine in the way. There it is. It's got a few little puckers, but that's okay. Seams match, but I'm going to tell you right now that some materials are stretchier than others, and sometimes you're going to have to make a bigger seam, and that's exactly what I had to do. So I had to make a bigger seam so that I could get these hats to match together. Now, we're working on the brim. Thinking about that, because I did make a bigger seam on that portion, you have to do the same. You have to do the same on the brim in order to make it match. So I'm hoping that they will, but I'm getting ready to sew this one. Now, I took this one and laid it out, and I took my chalk and I marked where the seam is on the other one so I could get the same size seam. So we're going to sew that one, and then we're going to try and start putting the brim together. The next seam we will have to do is sew the two brim ends to ends together so that we can get it onto the hat. I've never tried using these, so bear with me because I'm trying to make sure I get this in the right, get the needle in the right spot. So when I sew the hat together, it works. Sometimes I have to put it down to see. I want the needle to be right where it should be. And Miss Jeannie's here. She's just sitting over there watching me cuss. So, she's here. She's just watching me cuss. Alright, we're going to sew this one together and see if we can get them to match. Please, dear God, let this work. I'm usually pretty good at sewing a straight line. When it comes to all the curves, it's where it gets a little tricky. Alright, hopefully I will measure them again and make sure that I didn't sew over too far, because if I did, I'll have to tear it out and redo it. Because they both need to be the same size in order for the hat to work. Okay, so here's this one sewed together. What I want to do now is put these two together. Take the seam to seam, and you got to make sure you're doing it correctly here. One's going to have to be turned the other way, I think, so you can make sure you got it seam to seam. Alright, seam to seam. We're gonna put them together and see if they match. Now, the top half I don't want to worry about right now. The bottom half is what I have to sew together. All I'm going to do is take this, let me get this out of the way. I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to clip these two seams together because I know they're together. then I'm going to start down here because I need to know if these are going to work. Now you can fan your seams out if you want and sew them like that to make it flatter. And I don't, a lot of people use irons to do it. I just usually just run my finger across there until I get the seam to stay open. And right now I just want the bottom half to stay open because that's the half I have to sew. So let's get this one open. If you rub your finger hard enough, you can get it to stay flattened out. Alright. Now, before I start sewing this and realize that maybe one seam's off, I am going to, I don't know, I have a hard time with the clips. The clips are easier to use when you're putting the hat together, but when you want to make sure you're staying together, which I do right now, because I don't even know if this is going to work. If I made one seam, see, you gotta, dang it, it's not getting together like, well, one may have to be trimmed, I don't know. For the most part, I'm trying to get them to stay together. So, I'm going to pin the seams, well, I was going to, that one. Alright, someone's here. Or something's going on upstairs. Alright. Now, I'm going to try and make these match as much as possible and see if I've gotten the seams even. If I have, then everything should be good and I can sew the brims together, which is what I want. That's the next step I want to do, is sew them together. And then the other end attaches to the hat itself. But I'm trying to make sure I match the material together as much as possible. I want them to, one could be a little bit bigger than the other, but for the most part I want them to stay together. Probably would have been easier to clip it. But I want to see first if it's going to work. If it ain't, then we'll have to check the seams again and see what's off with them. Because if they're off, then your hat's going to be off. That's why I don't know, I just have a hard time measuring it. So I usually try and eyeball it. That's why I marked that one. Because I kind of wanted it to be the same size seam as the other one. And I figured if I marked it, it would work. Because I already put the black one on the hat. So I know that it was pretty good, actually. I know I had to go back and sew the seam a little bit more. So, it's okay. It happens. And I haven't put one together in a while, so I had to rethink about how it goes to, what all the different steps that you have to do to make it. Because like I said, you can watch Jenna Phipps, but you're probably, you might want to do it that way. You may want to sew each individual hat and then sew them together. I didn't want that many steps, so I cut that step out. And I started putting my hat together. So, that's, it's totally up to you. Your first time, you might want to sew each individual hat and put it together. I am going to go back and definitely tweak the pattern again, like I did last time, before I gave it to my granddaughter, because I kind of like the notches. The notches gave you something to match up to. If the notches didn't match, then you knew wasn't together proper, and you were going to have to tear it out or sew a bigger seam. So I kind of missed that pattern. I wish I hadn't given it to her now, because I'm pretty sure she's done absolutely nothing with it. I think she's, I'd say she's too into boys to worry about doing any sewing. If you really want to know the truth of it, she is. She's too into boys to worry about doing any sewing. And same thing's coming with Maddie, but Maddie she's used the home sewing machine for her sewing projects for school. And it'll be there for Bella to use when Bella has to do sewing. So they're using it. I believe she made a, yeah, see the little gap? There shouldn't be a gap there. Should not. Should not be a gap there. So something ain't quite right. And I really didn't want to have to sew that black material in any further, so it may be the white that needs to be sewed in a little further. Or I sewed the white too far, because there shouldn't be a gap. Alright, well, I can't have a gap. I cannot have it. That's on the end of the brim, and you don't want a gap. So we will have to fix that. And I'm not going to unpin the whole thing to fix it. I'm not doing it. I don't know how one material could be bigger than the other, but I've got two seams on that one. I would rather. But I don't know if I take a seam up on this white one. No, I think I can't. I can't. I have to take it up on the black material to make it match. Wow, that's a pretty big seam. But if I do that, is it going to match? I don't know. I've never had this. I mean, like I said, I haven't made them in a while, so. And once I was making them on a daily basis, I really didn't have to have these problems. I knew exactly how much I had to sew, and I don't want any spaces where it's not. But I'm saying this black material is really not working. Okay. Thinking if I sew, man, that seems like an awful big seam to sew. Unpin it, because I think that's, I'm going to sew it. We'll see. Because I'm thinking that's a pretty big seam to sew. Darn it. But if I sew that seam up, now how does these match up? See, I don't want the white material to be bulked up too. And the seams are supposed to stay together. So I don't know how that works. Let me see. Get the seams together here. Where I'm going to sew the new seam. Let's see what happens when I put them together. So I may have to sew more on the white one too. Come on. Yeah. Thinking I will. Because I got a little gap there on the white material too. Alright. I'm going to ouch.
You're going to ouch.
Yeah, I'm going to ouch. I hate it when it does this. So if I match that one, sewing that much. I have to sew another seam in the white too. And I'm thinking that's an awful big seam. But some material stretches, and you would think that the lining would stop it from stretching so badly, but it does not. So we're going to unpin, and I'm going to sew a bigger seam, and we're going to try again. Because I got to get it. And don't ask me, this is a magnetic for pins. I don't know where it came from. Well, I do know it belonged to my husband's mom. So I can't really tell you where she got it. I just know I like it. Because usually your pins just, you can just pitch them at it and they stay. Okay. I'm thinking that's a pretty big seam. And we're going to, I'm going to try the black first. I'm thinking that's too big of a seam really, but, and if I get it too small, it's not going to fit on my hat. So, alright, we'll be back when I figure this one out. Alright, I have my brim, and yes, I had to sew it in tighter to get the end of it to pin. So we're going to sew it together, and then we're going to probably pause again and see if it fits on the hat, because that might be another problem. Don't know. Haven't started yet. And really I want to start right where the seams meet, because I want them to stay together. So I'm going to unpin right here and start there. And I definitely got my pins going in the wrong direction for me to pull them off. So I'm going to take some out. Alright, I'm going to start right here. I'm not going to go, I don't want to go too close to the edge. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It does. You want a pretty good sized brim, but alright, let's see what happens here. I have to go slow because I have to make sure the material stays together. I also have to take the pins out as I'm going so I don't sew over the pins. And my foot doesn't know slow. It only knows go fast, go really fast. Sorry, it's my foot. It doesn't know slow. It's hard for me to go slow. Okay, another pin. Get my pin thing over here so I can throw those pins on the magnet there. Whoops, missed the magnet on that one. I'm hoping I don't have a big gap here. I'm not going to be happy. But after all the sewing I had to do to fix this, I won't be happy if I have to have a bunch of gaps. getting too close to the edge, though. I have kind of gotten off my original thing here. I was trying to keep the edge of the material right on the other side of the pretzel foot. So I knew I was staying right along the right edge there. Come on, stay matched up here. Alan, I can't answer it.
You want me to?
Yeah, answer.
0718.
What?
For
071837.
Seven or 6?
071837.
Okay.
Don't get me locked out of my phone now.
Oh no, that's why I asked. Alan said I would have to pay off our phones and see what else we owe, but it doesn't look bad at all. I'm going to check more on this Visible.
Thank you. Because I'm thinking about it too. My phone's already paid for.
So is ours.
He
we
said,
bought them outright.
Well, he must be talking about paying the bill off then. Yeah, I got a little bit of a pucker. God bless it. Sure do. I do. I don't get it. I can't redo this any more than I've already redone it. I don't know why I'm getting the puckers. Really, I don't. And right now, I'm going to leave it. Because I have a feeling I'm going to have a hard time when it comes time to put that on the hat. Because I've taken it in so much to make it match that I have a feeling it's going to be rough putting it on the hat. All right. It's just a little tiny pucker. It ain't that much. I thought it was more than that, but it ain't.
Well, that's good.
Okay, so right now I'm just straightening it out, because what you want to do, what you will do when you get, after you get it sewed onto your hat, is you will go around sewing the brim in just whatever kind of stitches you want to sew it in. That was weird.
What?
Because now that the heater's blowing, but it wasn't. How did it kick back on?
I don't know.
I had it set. Maybe it's because I have it set at a certain temperature. Alright. So that's the way it looks. That way. That way. Now. Now comes the hard part. Putting this on the way it goes. Yeah, see? Putting it on the way it goes. That's the hard part. And I'm hoping that I haven't taken this brim down so much that it won't fit on the hat. But as soon as I get it pinned, I mean, everybody knows how to pin. This has to be pinned a certain way, really. And it's hard to do. I can't remember now. But it has to be pinned a certain way so it goes in. In it, you need to match seams to seams. Where's my seam at? Put your seams together right here. That'll be your starting point. And I'm going to pause for a minute because I have to remember how to do this. And then I will come back and show you how to pin it on. Okay. So I looked at my other bucket hat, and I now remember how I put it together to get it to work. I took 2 strips, and I probably made mine longer than it needs to be. I didn't measure how long it is. They're about 2 inches. They're about 2 inches wide, strips of both material. Okay. What I'm going to do is sew them together, and then fold them over. If you know what bias tape is, or binding, that's what this is going to be. It's binding for the brim of your hat. And you don't have to make it that way, but that's the way I got it, so that I could sew both hats together. Now this end may not be quite 2 inches wide at this end, but that one's a little over 2 inches. Hey, I just cut it and tried to, because I'm going to have to iron it like bias tape so that it's folded over and you can put it around the brim of your hat. Because I was trying to figure out how I put them together, and I tried every which way pinning them together, and that didn't work. So now I remember, by looking at the other hat, that's what I did. Is I sewed this piece together and then ironed it over like you see bias tape, and that's how I finished off the brim of the hat. Although I want to keep these, I don't want a bunch of little sewing right along, trying to keep it right on the edge of one side of the material here. So I know I'm going straight. This probably is too long, and I will probably trim it off when I get it sewed on the hat. Yeah, I probably don't need to sew it all, but I will. And I think this material is moved on me, but that's okay. I'm okay. Because some of it might be a little wider than the other. That's okay. So like I said, we're going to iron it. We're going to iron it in. Fold it in and iron it that way so it's like bias tape. You can cover up the brim of your hat that way, and you don't have to worry about the raw pieces showing because they won't show. Okay, so that part's done, and then we can go back to finishing sewing the hat together. Now I got the brim together, and I'm trying to get it put the way it's supposed to be. Now, you have these two pieces together. What you're going to do is pull them out like this, so you can see the design. It's on the right side, and you're going to, let me bring you down more if I can. Move this out of the way. Alright, so you're going to take these two pieces and fold them out right side. I iron mine out, probably, because I'm going to have to fold them. And you're going to fold it in like this on this side. And you're going to fold it in like that on that side. Probably trim this off. Fold it in on this side to meet that side. And you're going to iron it that way. Then when you get ready to do the brim of your hat, you're just going to fold this over the brim of your hat. And you're going to sew it on like you would bias tape. Only it's made out of the material from your hat. So it matches. So that's what the plan is for this. And when we get to that stage, right now, I got the hat here. Somewhat of a hat. It took me a while to figure out that I did not sew the brim together. So let me move the sewing machine out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I hate to, let's turn it off and set it on the floor for the moment. Okay. Yep, knock your microphone over. Okay, set it back up. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm taking all the pieces and putting them together. Because that's the way it has to be. This part of the material has to face that part of the inside, because that's the way it goes. So you're going to I'm taking these clips, which I will maybe go to pins, because I don't know, I don't know which is easiest. Whatever is easiest for you to use, whether you use clips or you use pins. So you want all 4 pieces of material together. And you want to get them as even as possible. And I may use pins because I can pull them out as I'm sewing. The clips will work either way. The clip would work too. But I don't know. I'm just a pin person, I guess. I've not tried to sew too much with the clips. Alright, so we just want to make sure that we're getting all the materials together. Put the 2 hat materials together, then you line up both sides of your brim with the hat material. And you may have a little bit of, you shouldn't have big wrinkles. Now, if you got big wrinkles, then there's a problem. But you want all 4 pieces to actually be, can't seem to get them all 4 together. You want all 4 of the pieces to be together. And I don't sew, I know most people sew pretty close to the edge. I like to sew a little bit further back from the edge, because that way I know I got all 4 pieces in there. By doing the pins, I can, take them out as I go. Okay. I did do the brim. I did do this with clips. And I may still leave 1 clip in there and pin it underneath, because I need it to stay. I need these seams to stay together because they all match. Just for now. Okay. And we're just going to keep going around the edge, matching up all 4 materials. I'm going to match up the hat materials first. Then I'm going to pull up the brim materials on both sides in there. And try and get all 4 of them even. Once I've got them all 4 even, then I'm going to pin it. I'm going to do that all the way around, and then we'll come back when it's time to sew it. Okay, here's the hat. And all 4 sections are pinned together. And that's how it's going to get sewed. So then your hat will be put together and you'll be ready to finish off the brim. Now, I'm going to sew it very slowly because I do not want, see, I've got all the other material. I've got it all tucked in there. I do not want to hit that material. I have to keep it tucked. So I'm going to start at the seam as best I can. It's going to be hard to do to keep that, but I'm going to have to do it. I hope I put my pins in right this time so I can just pull them out as I'm going. Get my hat in there. I'm going to put this presser foot right here, right along the edge of this material. That's how I'm going to gauge how far to sew it. And I'm going to have to keep it put together so that I can... Is there another pin? Oh, shoot. There's another pin underneath there. Hold on a second here. Where's this other pin at? Right there. It must be... That would have been great. I would have sewed right over that sucker. It's on the inside of what I had pinned together. Yep. Where, though? Oh, great. It's in there somewhere. Not sure where. But I gotta get it out for sure. See if I can figure out. I don't see the head of the pin. Doggone it. I don't see the top of the pin to pull it out, but I know it's there because I can see it. It isn't there, so it has to be on the inside there somewhere. Dang it. I get it all messed up here. Gotta get it all pulled back together. Okay, let's try this again. Alright, get this right over there on the edge and try and keep my wrinkles out of the way, because that interfacing makes it wrinkled. It shouldn't, but it does. So we are going to get my machine set back up. Okay, and start by going backwards. Oops, why don't you... Oh, probably a pin stopping me. Doggone it. Alright, see if we can go forward here. Alright, stop. Pull the pin out. Pull the other pin out, because that's too many pins. Keep the material together, I hope. some creases coming up here from underneath, and I don't really want them to stay out of my way. I guess I should have pinned that inside the hat. I'm afraid I'm gonna sew it, and I'm trying not to, but I'm thinking I should have pinned it inside the hat, so then it would have been laying flat, and I wouldn't have to worry about keeping it tucked in there and not sewing it.
Yeah.
Well, I know for the next hat that I have ready to sew. I'm not going to do it on video though. Because I cut that pattern out different, and it's got more seams, and ouch, it would take a lot longer to do. So, I gotta keep this together. You gotta stay together, you dumb thing. Make sure it stays tucked under. Trying my best to do that and keep all four materials together so I don't mess up. But if I sew on the other one, then I'm definitely gonna have to tear it out, and I hope not, but it could happen. It wouldn't be the first time for me. I'm trying to keep all four pieces together and keep that piece back so I'm not sewing on it. And it's hard to do. Like I said, I should have pinned the inside down. And if I have to tear it out, that's exactly what I'm doing. I will pin that inside down. If I could get to it now, I would, but I don't know that I can get to it to pin it. I'm gonna try. I'm sorry. I don't really want to have to do this. I don't want to have to redo it. So I'm gonna try and pin it as much of it down as I can, because I still got a ways to go, and I don't want to have to do this. As long as it's pinned,
yeah,
and ain't going nowhere, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I just hope I haven't already hit some. I'm hoping not, but you never know. All right.
Working better?
Yep. Plus I'm not worried about it. I'm not seeing it pop up,
Okay.
which is what I didn't want it to do.
Yeah.
Then I can concentrate on keeping this one straight while I'm sewing. I don't have to worry about the other piece popping in there. Only thing I have to worry about now is not getting my needle on one of those pins and breaking it.
Yeah.
So if you see me stopping, that's why I'm stopping. I need to make sure that I get the pin out. So I'm not, and I'm trying to keep this here straight, and that piece underneath is not. That piece is not pinned. And I can't get to it. Alright, well, just keep this one straight. hopefully I'll miss it.
Huh?
Keep the bottom one, the top one straight, and hopefully I'll miss the bottom one.
Yeah.
I hope. I hope. That's all I can hope for. Okay. I can't see yet whether I did or didn't. I think I might have. Yeah, I think I might have. I don't know. Kind of hard to see. I should have pinned all that in like that so it wouldn't have moved. But we'll see. We'll see if I did. Alright. It goes nothing. Yeah. Okay, I will probably have to press it before I... There you go. There's the first hat. There's the inside hat. Okay, so the next phase we got is to press this one out as much as we can with the iron so that we can get the two brims together, match up your seams as best you can, stretch it out. Well, ironing it will straighten it out better. So when I iron the other piece, which is what I was getting ready to do next, then we're going to iron the hat too. So let me get my machine out of the way. Gotta unplug it, Kay. Can't take it off the desk without unplugging it. Come on. Okay. Now, put that on the floor. And I'm going to pause you while I get the iron, get it plugged up, and get something put up here to cover my cutting mats because I don't want to melt them. Alright, what I'm going to attempt to do now is straighten out, get the brim all nice and straightened as much as I can with the iron. Iron it out, iron the seam out so that I can get my other stuff ironed and ready to go. I'm not going to say it's going to iron out perfect, but we're going to try. And just iron the brim out right now because that's all I really need to iron out. Yeah, I see my seams are a little off. Well, you know, is what it is. Sometimes you can't everybody be perfect. And I never claimed to be perfect. So, I mean, it's just a little easier said than done. Just iron this out as best you can so you get the brims ironed out as flat as you can. You're still going to have that seam that's going to pucker up a little bit, but it don't really matter. I mean, once you start sewing the brim, and then you can actually stitch around that seam and make it flatter. Or you can trim it, but I would prefer to stitch around it. I don't think I'm going to try and trim it because I don't want to accidentally cut anywhere I sewed and have to resew. So I will probably sew around it like I did my other one, and we'll be good to go. Just get the wrinkles out of it. Iron that seam as flat as you can iron it. And get your brim straightened out as much as you can get it straightened out. And iron flat as much as you can. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but I'm gonna get it as flat as I can because I need to get it. I need to get the two pieces of broom together in order to put the, I'm going to call it bias tape. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Because when I get done with it, that's what it's going to look like. Because that's the next thing that's the next step. Okay. So that we're going to call pretty good. Now, we're going to work on this. And I probably have cut too much. But that's okay. I'd rather have too much than not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to fold it down and start ironing it like it was bias tape. And of course you can only fold a certain amount at a time here. I'll get it ironed. Okay. And move it some. And keep going down like this. You don't have to fold it in all the way if you don't want to. I mean, it's totally up to you. I'm trying to make sure I have plenty to go around the brim of that hat. So you can just do one side at a time if you want. I did trim my seam there. Hopefully it's going to be work enough for me to, yeah, I could have started at the other end, but it doesn't really matter. You can start at either end. Probably would have worked better if I'd ironed it out flat first. But I never do anything easy. I don't think about it till after I've already done it. Then by that time, I don't want to go back and, no, I don't. So, doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna cover the brim of your hat, and you're gonna sew it on there. You're gonna sew over it anyway, so just get it as close as you can get it, and as even as you can get it. So I mean, I'm not measuring. I'm just eyeballing it, which is probably not a good idea for me, but hey, because I don't see that well as it is, so it's probably not a good idea, but I'm gonna eyeball it anyway. Okay. Get this side. I'm getting my seam as even as I can get it. And I probably, like I said, probably cut way too much. I don't probably need that much, but I didn't remember exactly how wide or how long I did the last ones, so I'm just rolling with it. And hopefully I can get it finished tonight and get this video. I may not get it up till morning, but I want to get the video finished. And I will try and do another video tomorrow after I load this one, so I'm going to have to go to the grocery store and get some stuff, down to the dollar store and get some food stuff. Hopefully, if the weather doesn't get too jacked up. Because, you know, we're having weather issues again, so it could turn out to be ice, or it could turn out to be snow. Either way, I'm hoping the temperature is supposed to climb back up tomorrow, so whatever it does tonight, I'm hoping that the temperature climb will get rid of it tomorrow. If not, I'll be driving to the store anyway, because I got to go. Alright. Now, once you get that done, what I'm going to do now is fold it evenly as much as possible. Start at one end again. Fold it over as even as I can get it. And I'm going to iron it that way. It won't be perfect, but as long as you've got the right side going on the right side of the material, you're good. I can guarantee you that's little ironing pad is hot. That I can guarantee you. Alright, I think I need to hit that spot again because it doesn't want to stay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not getting that quite the way I should be getting it though. Why is that? Oh, I see. I should have hit that down there because it had a big old wrinkle. So now I might have to pull the white in a little bit. Ouch. A little bit more. Ow, ow. Ow, ow, ow.
A little hot there?
Yeah, it getting a little too warm there. A little too warm.
Too warm.
Let's see, I don't know if I need to pull that one in too. I don't know. I'm going to start there. Where'd you go? Come on. I never claimed to be a perfect sewer. That's for sure. I make my mistakes and I have to tear out and redo. It happens. It definitely happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to anybody. I can remember my grandma having to tear stuff out, and she always made us outfits. She made us dresses, and she was really into the maxi skirts. She was really into the maxi skirts. She really didn't. She didn't want us showing off our legs for anybody. So she made us a lot of maxi skirts. I finally got her one year when she asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and she told me I could go to the fabric store with her and I could pick out the material and I could pick out what I wanted. I picked out this hippie looking vest with some bell-bottom pants to match. I thought my grandma was gonna have a heart attack right there in the store. She's like, "You want that?" I said, "Grandma, you told me I could pick out whatever I wanted, and this is what I want." Okay. Well, she made it for me, but she didn't want to. I said, "Well, Grandma, it's not a dress. It's not a short dress. It's a pair of pants and a vest." She didn't dig it too much. I think it was the bell bottoms that she didn't dig the most. But she always, and you know, when she got us ready for school or Sunday school, either way, we always had to wear a dress. And we always had to have our hair done a certain way. And yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, I remember, you know, I remember really hating those little sponge rollers. Yeah, I could find them a lot easier to sleep in than regular rollers.
Yeah.
But back then, I hated them stupid things. We always had these bouncy curls, and it was ridiculous. But Grandma loved it.
Yeah.
That's the way she wanted us to look. In a nice dress with her hair all curled, and yeah, that was Grandma. I loved my Grandma. She just didn't really teach me how to sew very much. She didn't let us use our sewing machine. No. I mean, my mom finally got one, and we had to learn how to use it. Because you had to make stuff in home economics, so you had to make skirts and aprons and all kinds of crap. And I say crap because when I picked a skirt that did not have any gathering in it. I was not, no way, no how was I ever going to do that. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because we had to make an apron, and it was gathered. The skirt was gathered.
Oh.
I swear to God, I tore that sucker out so many times that I ripped the material.
Oh, jeez.
I tore it out so many. Finally, I took it. We got to bring it home and work on it at home.
Mm-hmm.
I took it in there to my older sister, and I said, please put this skirt on here. Because if you don't, I'm going to get the scissors out, and I'm going to cut this thing into 1,000,000 pieces. She sewed it on.
Did she?
Yep.
Was it Sandy?
Yep.
Yeah.
I could not do it. I swear to God. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the end in on this before I start pinning it on the brim. Because I kind of want to make them match. And it'll be easier if the end's already folded. So I'm going to hopefully I made this wide enough. I hope. Not going to guarantee anything because I don't know if I did or not. I made it about 2 inches wide, so I thought that'd be plenty wide, and if it ain't, well, I'm pretty sure I got some red binding over there. Well, I don't want the ends to stick out. You know, I want it to look finished, but I don't want the ends to stick out that I folded over. Alright, I'm going to get this all pinned on. You see what I'm doing. I'm taking it and I'm pulling the brim together and I'm pinning this on. And then we'll come back and sew it. Okay. We got the brim sewed on it last. And I pinned on my end, my cover for both sides. Matches. And we're going to sew it on, and then we're going to sew around the brim, and we will be done with this. Well, I don't want to call it what I've been calling it, because it's not something I should say on YouTube. Okay. And I hope that's helped. I mean, this probably got to be one of my crappier videos that I've ever made. Well, no, I would say there's one other in the running. Maybe a couple others in the running. One of them would probably be the first time I put wind chimes together. That was not a fun one, believe me. Let's see if I can get this hat up there under where I want it, where I need it to be. And I gotta make sure that I stay on that side too, because I need to make sure I'm sewing both sides. I kind of wanted to start here where the seam is. Let's see if I can get it there. Start where the seam is. I'll have to pull the pin out, but let me get it under there first. Yeah, I didn't really want to pull the pin out yet. Not really. Not really. I'm afraid that once I pull the pin out of there, it's going to go everywhere. Until I get it locked down under that presser foot. I'm going to try and stay not right on the edge. Because I'm afraid if I stay right on the edge, I won't be getting the back half. And I got to catch that back half too, so there's going to be a little bit of crinkles in it. Come on. Okay. And sometimes when I sew through a little thicker fabric, it makes a little bit of noise there. We're going to see. I don't want to get my thing caught underneath there. Plus, I got my pins going the wrong way again. Doggone it. Get up there. Stay. Yeah. Not going to say this is my best bucket hat I've made. I made several. It's just that I haven't made any in a while, so I had to go through the whole thing and remember what I did. But I will make another one, but I'm gonna notch my pattern this time. It should have had notches in it to begin with, so I'm gonna redo the pattern. Because I don't like it not having the notches. Notches gives you something to match up. When you have a notch in a pattern, it's there for a reason. And, you know, I guess maybe she didn't need no stinking notches. I don't know. But I need notches, dang it. I need some notches in my pattern. It helps you match the material up better. I don't want to get too close because I'm afraid I'll miss the material on the other side. Wish I would have put the pins going the correct way, really. Would have been nice. Ah! You just wanna buckle up on me every chance you get. And I don't know, I should have measured how long I made this trim because it turned out to be a little, I had very little left over. So it was almost perfect. But I didn't measure how long it was. So I don't know what that was. I couldn't tell you. Could have been, well, I know it was over. I used a yardstick, so I know it was over 36 inches long. So I'm going to say 41 inches long, maybe 42 inches long, because I added an extra few inches just in case. Even if I had to cut them off, I didn't care. I just wanted to make sure I had enough. So I'm going to say 42. If you have to, if you have to cut some off, no big deal. You can cut it off when you get to that point. And what I did is I didn't cut the piece off. I folded it under the other piece that I had folded. And so you didn't really see it. I think I double stitched this, if I remember right, because I stitched it on one side and then turned around and stitched it on the other side just to make sure I had gotten both sides. Plus, all you're going to do after that is stitch around your brim and put your decorative, however many stitches you want to put around it. I don't even remember how many rows I did. I did several rows around mine. Would have been nice to remember how to do this whole thing without having to stop and start this video. It's liable to be over an hour long again. Not that you all care about long videos, because you like them, but I was trying to do it as quickly as possible and not cut out a bunch of steps, because, you know, you might need those steps, you know, and that's what I was trying to not do. I didn't want to cut them. I don't want to cut steps out, and we're trying to come off on the back side, and I don't want that to happen. You might have a little bit of wrinkles. You can choose to not sew the other end on there and just keep sewing it without pinning it, so that you can make sure that you're hitting both sides. But I'm gonna sew this side, and then I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna sew the other side, so I make sure that I hit both sides of the hat. And that's what I did on all the ones I made for my grandkids. I just flipped it over. After I sewed one side, I flipped it over to the other side to make sure I got both sides. We're almost to the end here, and then we'll flip it over and do the other side. Is it perfect? No, it is not. It is not perfect. I don't know why I have wrinkles in some spots that I shouldn't have wrinkles in. I think on my hat, I didn't do all the iron-on lining. So I think maybe that's why it went together easier. I don't know. But we're gonna finish this one off, and then we're gonna flip it over. And sew the other side. Just so I can make sure that I got both sides here. I'm trying not to waste a bunch of bobbin thread, or I'm going to have to redo a bobbin here, which everybody knows how to do. Okay. Alright. There's that. I don't see that I missed it, but I think what I'll do this time is just sew that side so I can make sure that I get it good, and I don't have to worry about missing it. So we're going to flip the hat inside, and I still got pins on the brim because that's the only way I could keep the ends together to get my stuff pinned on there. And I was doing quite a few little choice words on this one. Sorry. And I couldn't have left it on anyway, because yeah, I had a lot of choice words to say on this one. I'm trying to get my thread out from underneath the presser foot here. Why are you under there? There. Get out of my way here. Get out of my way. Let me get this done. I've been trying to get this one done for a while. Alright. So, I guess I could, but I'm afraid I might be missing, but I'm going to try and go right above where the stitch is. I don't know that that's going to catch it all, but I'm going to try here. Yeah, see, this white part has a whole lot of wrinkling, and I don't know why. I didn't do it any different than I did the other side, so I don't know why it has all the wrinkles. I can't figure out why. That's okay. We're gonna roll with it for now. I may try and do another one and do a better video for you, but right now we're rolling with this one. We're trying to get it done. I think I'm going to give this one to Miss Addie because she asked me for one, and of course I know if I do one for Addie, I'll have to make one for Grayson, which I think I got some old Batman material that I can make him one out of. I think I have some Batman material left. And that's what I'll use for his. Don't tell me I'm out of... No, I'm not out of bobbin thread, but I may end up using a different color on this hat. I don't know yet. We'll see. I got some pins sticking up here. It's going to end up sticking me. Well, won't be the first time. I've been stuck by pins quite a bit. Yeah. Anytime you sew with me, you're going to get stuck by a pin. It's the way it goes. It's just the way it is. Yeah, I'm trying to get this to lay down better. That's the reason why I'm going along the edge of it. Because otherwise it looks, because it's not, the material's not stiff, it's just regular material. Now, had I put some lining in it, it probably would have worked out better, but I wasn't going to do that. Alright, before we start doing that, I may have to do some more bobbin thread. Because I'm thinking that I'm going to run out of bobbin thread before I get finished. Ta-da! Here we go. Now, we're going to do our, I would do designer stitches, but they seem to take a long time, some of them, to do. And I kind of want to get this video out, so I'm just going to do regular stitching. And I think, I don't remember, I think I did 4 or 5 rows around my bucket hat. I don't know that I'm going to do that many around this one. I've already done 2 around the edge, so I'm going to try. I'm not out of bobbin thread yet. I mean, could happen. After maybe a couple of rows, it could happen. But we'll see. We will see. And yes, I do need to do some little rows around the top of the hat, but that I don't know if I'm going to. Since I'm going to give this hat to Addie anyway, I don't know if I'm going to go through that process. But what I'm going to do is start up here right around the edge of the hat. I'm going to start and I'm going to sew it right there. Now I'm going to probably run across some, definitely run across some wrinkles, but I do my best to make it through it. Try to keep it as unwrinkled as possible and get around the seam. Try and keep your wrinkles. I mean, there are some, and I don't understand why. I don't get it. But we're gonna do what we can to finish the hat. And then when I figure out what the heck happened, I would come back and make another Betty Boop hat, because I got another one in mind for me. Yeah. I'm just going to stretch these out and go along the seam. And then we can move on down the brim there. If I don't run out of bobbin thread first. And if I do, well, we're either going to spin another bobbin or I'm going to pick another color, and that's what I'm doing it in. Since, you know, it isn't really, it's not really my hat. It's going to be Addie's hat, so. Come on. Don't go crazy here. Go back. Alright. There's that portion. And I think not out of bobbin thread, but I don't probably have enough to go all the way around the hat again. So, we're going to swap it out for a different color, which I'm sure Addie won't care, because she likes all different kinds of colors. So maybe we'll pop in some yellow. All right, let's get some, because this one's about out. Yeah, I think I might make it around another 2 rows. Let's try. And then if I don't, I'll just pop in another color. I'm sure she won't care. She's not going to care, because it's her hat. She asked me for one. Well, she wanted stitch, but I told her daddy he would have to go to Joanne's and buy her some material, and how much material to buy. I'll make it, but I'm not going to buy the material for it. I mean, she's already getting the boop material, so. Alright. So, it does not matter on this. You can go, you can put them right next to each other. You can go, I think I did like 5 rows of stitches. And let's turn this in the other way, because I really want the dark blue to be on the outside rather than the light blue. I mean, the light blue is fine, but I think I want to do the dark blue on the outside. Okay. And go right here. And we're going to start. And we're just going to go around and make a few rows. try and keep them as straight as possible. I mean, they don't have to be perfect. It's just gonna, it's kind of like a decorative thing for the brim of your hat. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect. For sure. Trying to keep stuff from rolling up under there. Keep it going. Trying to go in a straight line here. Trying, anyway. Alright, you get the gist. Let me finish it, and then I'll be back with the finished hat. I'm just going to continue to go around the brim till I get, I don't know, 4 or 5 rows. Then I'll be back. Alright, we are back, and we have a reversible bucket hat made. Now, here we go. You can flip the brim up. You can turn it the other way and wear it that way. You can wear it either way you want to wear it. I don't care. I wear mine the way I want to wear it. So we've got Betty Boop USA. And then we have Biker Betty. Okay. And I hope this video helped. I will try and make another video and try and get the pattern so it's easier to do. There were some steps that I forgot until I looked at my hat and had to remember how to do them or what I did. So, it's done. Of course, the last 2 rows were done in yellow because I ran out of bobbin thread and I didn't want to rethread the bobbin. And it doesn't matter because it's somebody else's hat and she ain't gonna care. So, there's the hat. Let me get it down a little bit so you can see it. In case you hadn't read my shirt. It says, if you find me offensive, then I suggest quit finding me. Okay, let's get my shout out list done so I can get this video finished. Wanda's Blessed Creations, and please say prayers for Miss Wanda, because just because she needs prayers right now. Stacy _ the Crafty Cat, Res C Liz, India Brady Art. I'm glad to hear that you're okay, Miss India. Art by me, Andrew Walker, Billy Holman Creations, Cosmic Carols Creations, at Artsy Doodles 1, My Love of Crafts, Butch's Resin Creations, Created with Wingless Angels, Roseanne's Crafting Corner. Please, I mean, even though she's quit, I still like to watch her videos. Coral Marine's Resin Art. Check out Miss Coral. She's got a gorgeous military tumbler that she just made. It was beautiful. Let's see. Marvelous Artsy, Crafting with Carla, Cynthia's Crafts and More, Amy's Resin Corner, Kat Johnson, Mini Scenes GB, Easel Does It Studio, Martha's Craft Room, Ruby's Resin Studio, Custom Created Handmade Crafts, Mama's Madhouse Creations, that's Gail Hinky, Clear Creations, The Blue Elephant Gifts, Creepy Crafts, Patricia's Crafting Corner, June's House of Crafts, Reb Critter, Bright Star Creative, at Resin Artists, that's Miss Suda, The Resiner's Poorhouse, Lori, aka Midwest Meemaw, Missouri Mama, Resin Me Up, and my tablet. I have Heart Creations by Renee, Laney's Crafting Creations, Reptiles in Resin, Blessed Epoxy by Amy, Epoxy Me That. Who else? There was somebody else. Julia's Crafty Chaos. I think there was one more, but I can't. Dang it. I don't know. I got to get my board redone because I know I'm leaving somebody out, and I'm very sorry for leaving you out. I really need to get my board redone. Get the names redone on it. So I hope you liked the bucket hat video. Like I said, I will try and do another one and be a little more organized and know a little more about what I'm doing. I haven't made this in several years, so this was a awakening to get back into making bucket hats. But thanks for watching, and like and subscribe and share, and we will see you tomorrow on another video. Bye for now.